Hello ladies, this is my All Japan Pro Wrestling Love in Ryogoku Volume 4 review. This was pay-per-view from March 1st. Some people know it as the Dory Funk Junior Retirement Show. That's also what it's that's what people call it, and yeah, that did happen, but that's not what it's called. It's called what I said before. I'm not saying it again. Yes, March 1st, 2008. Let's go straight into the matches. We started off with Seiya Samada. I can't read my handwriting. It's terrible and it's too small. Seiya Samada and Hajime Suruga. Yeah, versus, I think it says Manaobu. Yeah, Manaobu Soya and CJ Otis. This match was a pretty stock standard tag team match. All these guys were young guys, so they weren't going to go out and try to, wow the fans or anything. It was just going out there and just putting on a standard tag team match to just open the night, I guess. And if you went to a wrestling school or something, you'd pretty much see the same type of standard tag team match if you had a whole bunch of guys who were still students. Of course, the technique in this was better. All the guys were fine wrestlers, but there was just nothing exciting about this match. It was just very bland and felt it went on a bit too long. But there was nothing wrong with the match. 2.25 stars. Bland as a brown paper bag. Next up, we had T28 and Hiroshi, Yamato, and Kaive. Sorry, there was 3 people there. Versus NOSAWA, MAZADA, and TAKEMURA in a 6-man tag. This match had some pretty high moments, but I felt at the start it took a while to get started, and at the end it just went on a little bit too long. And that's my main criticism of the match. The rest of it was fine, but it just took too long to get started, and then when it finally hit its stride, it just went on a little bit too long. Or it just felt like it went on a little bit too long because I lost. I didn't lose attention. It's just I understood what they were doing in the match, and so I got bored with it. But 3 stars because it was still a good match. It could have been a lot worse. That was my only criticism. It just took a little bit too long to get started, and felt like it went a little bit too long too. But other than that, it was perfectly fine. Next, we had another 6-man tag with Joe Doring, Kaz Hayashi, Ryuji, Hijikata versus ZODIAC, Shuji Kondo, and Naoki, Tanisaki. This match was also pretty good 6-man tag team match. It felt a lot shorter. I'm pretty sure it was only a little bit shorter, or maybe about the same length. Maybe longer, I don't know. I don't know the actual lengths of these matches, but it felt it went a lot shorter, and it was, a lot more entertaining. There was, because you have the Joe Doring and ZODIAC, who were both big guys, there was an extra dynamic added to the match, whereas with the other match, they were all pretty small guys, so that was standard. But with this match, you did have big guys, and so it did have an extra element added to it, and it made it a little bit more entertaining. 3.25 stars. Next, we had Suwama versus TARU. This match, the story behind this match was, and ZODIAC, Shuji Kondo, and Naoki Tanisaki are all part of the Voodoo Murderers, as is TARU, and Suwama was as well. But Suwama had broken away from the Voodoo Murderers, and TARU was sort of getting back at him, and so you had all the guys from Voodoo Murderers out at ringside, with TARU and Suwama out by himself, sort of taking a stand against him, being an ex-member, and that was the psychology going into it. And you had TARU cheating and using bottles and pipes and stuff. Of course, Suwama was very good in this match. I feel he's a pretty good wrestler. Has a bit to go, because there were some things he nearly botched and just showed a few signs of a few things they needed to improve on. But for the most part, he was very good in this match. It was TARU who really dragged it down, because he just seemed really lazy in it. Spent a lot of the match sort of just standing there or wandering around the match, wandering around the ring yelling and outside interference. And yeah, there was a story in the match, but it was just TARU didn't do a lot to sort of get over the fact that he was. At times, I never believed that TARU was going to win this match. I knew Suwama was going to win it, and even with the outside interference, TARU sort of didn't follow up on it in the match. I felt 2.5 stars. There were some good moments in it, like Suwama's powerbomb, where he sort of had to deadlift TARU and just slam. It's just a testament to sometimes how lazy TARU can get. Next we had the junior heavyweight title, Katsuhiko Nakajima versus Silver King. This was a very good match. Silver King is a short, stocky guy, if you haven't seen him, who wears a mask, and Katsuhiko Nakajima is a young guy who's a very good junior heavyweight. And this match was just really good. There were some times where it got a bit boring, and there were a few moments which were botched and stuff, but for the most part this match was very good. I felt it could have had a bit more time, because Suwama and TARU had a bit too much time, I felt, whereas this match didn't have enough, because they were just doing really well in the ring. 3.5 stars, not really much to say other than this was just a really good match. And Silver King did look a bit gassed early on, but Katsuhiko Nakajima looked a little bit green, but it all worked out well. Next we had Mutoh versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. With Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Toshiaki Kawada, my favourite, and Teoki. This match, pretty much, you knew the moment as soon as I saw it on the card, I just knew that Kawada and Ki were doing the job, because you had Tanahashi coming in and Mutoh. So there wasn't a lot of great interest for me coming into this match, but I am a big Kawada fan nonetheless, and Ki fan. And I find it funny because you have Mutoh, who's really the sort of the top guy to an extent in old Japan, the owner, and everyone knows he's the owner, and Tanahashi, who was the big name from the other company. You'd expect both of them to get larger reactions than Kawada, but neither of them did. Kawada is still just the most over guy there, and it shows, because everything he did, the crowd just ate up like crazy. But having said that, Tanahashi did some pretty good heel work in the match, and Ki and Kawada played the faces really well. Kawada seemed a bit lazy at times, but the match itself was a very good tag match, and the match of the night, 3.25 stars. Next we had the Dory Funk Jr. retirement. We had Dory teaming up with Osamu Nishimura to face Genichiro Tenryu and Masanobu Fuchi. All three of the guys in the ring with Dory were all his students, and if you're talking about the best wrestlers in Japanese history or wrestling history, those three guys have to get a mention in there, because they are all really good. And Dory, I think, was 67 in this match, and it's really a testament to how much he's really influenced the business, because you had Tenryu and Fuchi, who were from old Japan during the 80s and had a massive influence in their fields, and Nishimura, who's one of the top wrestlers in Japan, if not in terms of placement on the card, but he's just one of the best. I'd say he could go with anyone. He has just really good matches at times. I really enjoy him. Sometimes his matches aren't the best, but he's a really good wrestler nonetheless. Or at least I feel so. Some people feel he's a bit bland, but I feel he is a really good technical wrestler, and I really enjoy his work. But this was a big match, because Dory Funk has had such an influence on wrestling, and even more so on Japan, because of all the guys he trained who would influence wrestling in Japan, and he was one of the guys who went over to Japan quite a lot. This match really personified an old school wrestling match, because there wasn't any massive high spots or anything. They just went out and did a standard match, but the crowd was just so into it, just from the simplest things. Just Dory doing a European uppercut, the crowd went nuts, and when someone started beating on Dory, the crowd booed, and no matter what Dory did, he'd be the face in this match. It was just the match itself wasn't the best, just like Ric Flair's match, but the emotion in it really takes it to that sort of, helps it up there. 3 stars. Next we had the Triple Crown Championship title, Kensuke Sasaki versus Satoshi Kojima, who I'm a fan of more than Sasaki. Kojima representing Voodoo Murderers. This match was pretty good. There was a bit of interference, and I did expect a bit more from the match. I felt it was just lacking at sometimes, like there just wasn't enough wrestling going on. They were just sort of piss-farting around a bit with the outside interference. But around the end, in the last 5 or so minutes, it got really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. There was they didn't need to do a whole bunch of near falls or crazy run-ins at the end. At the end, it was just sort of decided with a simple finish, and it was good for what it was. It was a bit shorter than I thought it was going to be, or at least it felt like it with me for me. But it was still a pretty good match. 3.5 stars. There's not really much you can say. They're both top quality workers and put on a top quality match. The event as a whole, I'll give an 8 out of 10. So some problems I had with the event was it was a 4-hour event, and I felt it just dragged on a little bit with video packages and things of that nature. But it was still a very good event, and I recommend you picking it up from IVP videos. Anyway, that's my review of that. Some of you may not agree. I know some of you won't, because I'd spoken with a few of you about the event. But thanks for watching. I'm coming back with a Pro Wrestling Noah review later.